Two podcasts, a fast score, it's a fast score, it's a fast score. Bop, 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 bop. Howdy, Ags. From the tailgate, home of Aggie Football. Today's sponsor is Matthews Electric, full service electrical contractor in the Brazos Valley. No job too big, no job too small. Call Blaine at 979-220-6403. Light up your home, light up your
Right
life.
up your line.
It's a beautiful thing, beautiful thing. Our other sponsor is Watermelon White Claw. You know, they're back on Watermelon White Claw.
When are we gonna get Propel on there? We need to get Propel.
Oh yeah, look, and how about
Apple.
berry flavored Propel?
I got kiwi, strawberry,
That's
and
right. Everybody keep
extra
hydrated with some
grape.
Propel.
That's right.
If you like to hydrate while you drink, mix it with some vodka. It's all good. Folks, don't forget to email us at agstailgate@gmail.com. Get onto the YouTube, find us on YouTube, subscribe, get those subscribe numbers up. Today's rundown, we're going to do a quick recap of Sanford, preview the A&M versus TU game. We're going to go a little bit around college football, some questions from the tailgate. Corey, we're going to jump right into it.
Do it.
Look, Aggies beat Sanford 48-0 at Kyle Field on Saturday. Obviously, this game was never in doubt. You know, before the game, it wasn't in doubt. Everybody knew this was going to be a win. But a couple of big things here, to me at least, was one was the shutout, right? And so this is the first shutout since beating Sam Houston in on September 3rd of 2022. First shutouts in 2022. So that's pretty big, right?
Is
Haven't
it?
had a lot of those. Uh,
Is it
so yeah, so
really?
take it. How bad is Sanford? They're pretty darn bad. They had a field goal blocked, not that long of a field goal, and they missed another field goal. So
Dude,
probably they kind of gave it
Stanford
to us a
was
little bit.
1-10 going into the game or something, weren't they?
Yeah.
They're
Uh,
like the worst team in the nation. I don't know who they beat.
you know,
They probably beat the
our punt
Longhorns.
returner muffed one so that they had a chance at one of those field goals. So it wasn't really on the defense. They basically had one good drive. 51 yards. It included a couple of, kind of hook and lateral type plays and a dumbass roughing the passer, call on Solomon Williams. But, they got it into field goal range and then they missed. So, defense played really well. All that to say is the defense played really well. And Corey, you know that they've been susceptible to big plays at times, and they really held this team pretty much in check all day, under 100 yards. Um, Look, Marcel only played a little over a quarter. He had one drive in the second quarter, and it was all handoffs. He threw three touchdowns, four possessions, four touchdowns. You know, Daniels, because they didn't play Owens, Daniels goes in, excellent, 9 carries, 106 yards. KC and Bethel Roman both have touchdowns. Uh, Bethel Roman had two catches, two touchdowns, 61 yards, I think is what his numbers were.
Impressive.
Look, they ran the ball 43 times for 247 yards. You know, four different quarterbacks got snaps. Look, and we just talked about it last week. Look, Elko doesn't like to run up the score. 48-0. This game could have been 90-0, right? I mean, if they wanted to run this thing up, but he doesn't do that. So, defense, first shutout. Um, and then most importantly, man, you got out of this thing healthy, man. Got out of this thing healthy. Two things that I thought were super important on Saturday. You got to get out of this thing healthy, and let's go take a look at some of these young players that are going to have to be part of this team, a big part of this team next year, right? And let them get some snaps. And so we were able to do both of those things. Like I said, the first team really only played a little bit over a quarter. The rest of the game was a lot of young guys, and then at the end, even some seniors that, Elko did a great job of getting all those senior guys in there, make sure that they were on, senior day, they were getting some snaps and all that good stuff. And so I think they accomplished everything we needed to. Any thoughts?
No, just happy they came out healthy, like you said. I mean, they didn't cover the spread. It's disappointing. I didn't bet it, but I didn't think they would. You know, Elko doesn't run it up, so everybody's healthy. I just honestly hate these games this late in the season. I freaking
Yeah,
hate it.
yeah.
That's
Hey,
my biggest shock.
look, and we'll go through,
The
other
whole
games,
SEC though. It's not just them. It's all the SEC.
the
It's not.
entire SEC, just nothing.
There was like two
It
meaningful
was
games in
horrible.
the SEC.
Yeah, it
There's
was
two
horrible. It
meaningful
was
games,
horrible. It was probably the worst week of college football all season, to be
and
honest
they
with
could
you.
have played this game the first game of the season and just
Yeah.
been done with it. We could have been like, okay,
And look, now they're getting rid of this one, right? Going forward, they're adding another SEC game. This game will be gone. No more late season garbage games. That's going to be the new SEC. I love it because this it really was. It was the worst weekend of college football all year, I think.
yeah, it wasn't. I mean, it was good for us. We won money, but
Sure. Yeah, yeah,
it
yeah.
was not a. It was not fun to watch on the. Thank God the YouTube TV and ESPN work shit out because I could watch all the games again. But it's it wasn't fun to watch. I couldn't find the games I wanted to watch.
Yeah. And look, we're not really too worried about the backup quarterbacks because Marcel's coming back next year, right? So, O'Neal goes in and gets some reps. Honestly, the freshman Hart, I thought is a guy that looked pretty good. I thought he looked pretty good in the game. Made some nice throws. Looked decisive. For a freshman, that guy, it's going to end up getting in the mix once Marcel decides to go. Probably after next year, right? He's
Yep.
going to probably be the guy in the mix. I think O'Neal's probably a guy that ends up transferring this offseason, right? Because he doesn't have a chance to play next year, right? And he'll be in his third year, and so he's probably on his way out the door. But he didn't look great. He didn't look great. I'm not sure. You know, I'm not sure exactly what was going on last time he played. I thought he played a lot better. You know, maybe he's sort of checked out. Maybe I don't know. Already kind of seeing that he's leaving, right? I don't know, but he didn't play well. He didn't play well against Samford, which tells you something all about that. So but I was impressed with Hart. I thought the freshman looked real good. Most importantly, though, I also thought, like I said, we got a bunch of young guys and offensive line wise, we've talked about it. We could lose three or four of these starters. We will lose three. We may lose four, depending on what Chase Bisontis decides to do. And so we were able to get a lot of time with the two young tackles with Borden and Rogers. I like that group. Man, I think that, Rogers is a big five-star. That dude's huge and Bordon on the right side. I mean, and those two guys looked really good, and I thought that they made some plays. Once again, let's temper all this. It's Samford, but those guys got in there, and on the inside, you got guys like Funk and Ivy in there to get some reps as well. Those guys are going to have to play next year, right? And so that's important. That's important to get those guys in the field. You know, carrying the ball, both Jamarian Morrow and Tiger Ryden, the two freshmen, look great. Um, they had some big holes, but we've seen Jamarian all year long, right? I mean, that guy's going to be a special player, and between them and Owens, that's going to be your backfield next year. So it's good to see that those guys are there, along with I'm sure they'll bring in some there's some freshmen that have been recruited, even though one of them decommitted this past week and is going to Oklahoma instead. But that's your backfield. You got receivers. If you lose KC, you got some guys in Isaiah Williams and obviously Ashton Bethel Roman and TK Norman that got in there. So I like the composition of this team. I like that all those guys got a ton of snaps. Craver didn't play. And then you look at the defensive side, and you've got the same sort of thing, right? Up front, you're going to lose some guys. Well, Marco Jones got a ton of snaps. Solomon Williams got a ton of snaps. Kennedy, these are all edge guys, right? And Pemba in the middle, Evans and oh, look, dude, Rink looks like he's going to be the next big time ball player on the inside of that defensive line. I love the way he plays, and man, he's only a freshman, dude, and he's already very physical. So a guy that you look at for next year, and he's gonna be a leader on that defensive front, I think. But Evans played a lot, right? Now it's a sophomore, second year guy, right? And he got a lot of playing time. He's gonna have to be a guy that takes a bigger role in that, along with Sanders, another one of those freshmen. And so you got those guys in there, reps. that are going to help them prepare for next year. McHale and Jernigan's and Lockhart at linebacker. Davis and Pride at safety got a ton of reps. And that's an important one because those safeties are such a key piece of what Elko does defensively, right? And just seeing it over and over again is super important. Humphrey Curry at cornerback along with Javon Thomas, lots of reps. So that's what I wanted to see. I'm glad that they were able to do it. I'm glad that they were able to be productive on the field with that second group, especially that second defense.
Well, I don't even know who we're losing this year. Who? I mean, I don't know what we're losing. I know offensive line wise, we're losing three, maybe four guys. You said Basantis. Can't really blame him for leaving. He's probably going to be what, a third round pick or something like that, possibly.
Yeah, probably maybe
Second,
first, second,
yeah.
third round pick, depending on how those evaluations go.
And KC, I think he has to go. I mean, his stock can't get any higher than what it is right now. That guy has just been blowing up all season. So I mean,
Absolutely.
I think he has to go.
Yeah.
Rio, I think, needs to put on some more weight. I don't think the
Rio's
NFL's
only a
calling.
second year guy. Rio can't go. Rio's going to come back.
Okay. Okay. And then what about our tight ends? I'm not sure about those guys.
Yeah, I mean,
Uh,
you're probably losing all the tight ends that have actually played this year, right? I mean, like consistently played. I mean, Borkature and Theo are both out of eligibility. Nyblock may have a
I'm not
year
sure.
left, but he hadn't really done a lot anyway. So we haven't seen a lot of those guys. The guys that are probably going to be playing next year. I mean, Armstrong was a freshman that hasn't gotten on the field much, but they were super excited about him coming into the year. So, obviously with the guys that we've had and the production that we've had in another room, they haven't needed him. So maybe that's a guy that can step in next year and be more of a contributor. Um, and also, what they've done the last couple of years at the tight end room, they've gone out and found somebody that can come in and contribute in the transfer portal as well, right?
Yeah, I didn't expect that at all. Berkshire has been
Burkitter's been excellent. I mean, phenomenal.
surprise,
Yeah,
huge.
yeah.
I mean, who wouldn't want to come play here? I mean, this offense is exciting now. It's fun. The tight ends are involved. I mean, we used to have them involved back in the day, but shit, now we got weapons on the outside. We got a running game.
Look,
As long as that O line,
I think Burkitter's a guy that's got an NFL future, man. The dude blocks, he's physical, he can go catch the
yeah,
ball.
I can see it.
Is he gonna be Kelsey or something? No, he's not gonna be that guy, but he can be a guy that's on the field all the time and give you great production in blocking and receiving.
Kelsey's a distraction now. He's just a drama queen.
Well,
Yeah,
I meant
I'm just saying.
career wise.
Oh yeah, okay. I mean, I'm just saying he's killing that KC team right now. He's just killing.
They got to win this weekend. So, all right. So we saw
Shouldn't
what
have,
we
by the way.
saw.
They shouldn't have.
Yeah, they shouldn't have. Kind of lost me a game. Lost me a little
Yeah.
bit. A little
Hey,
bit.
it looked good for a long time, man. I can't believe they blew that. But go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah.
Hey, what
So
about the defensive side? What are we losing on defense? I'm sorry. I just want to talk about that. Are we losing our both our cornerbacks?
yeah, I mean, you're definitely losing Lee, right? He's gone, and um, Dez. I don't know. Dez Ricks. He could go or he could stay, right? I mean,
Where would he go?
huh?
You think he'd get drafted?
I think he's had a pretty darn good year. I don't know where he'd get drafted. I think he comes back. I think he comes back because he's got a chance to really solidify himself as kind of that guy on the outside. The two safeties and Brooks and Ratcliffe, I think both have eligibility left. I don't think they're going anywhere,
Yeah.
but
I think those should be back.
so I think both of those guys will be back. You could lose York at linebacker. You're going to lose Scooby. Um,
York ain't going nowhere, I don't think yet. I don't think he's had I mean, I think he's had a decent season. I don't think
I just
anybody's
don't
knocking.
know. I don't know that he can help himself that much. I mean,
What about Sanford?
Sanford will be back. Yeah, Sanford will be
Good.
unless
I
unless
like
he
him.
transfers, right?
Why the hell would he transfer?
I don't know. I'm not saying he would. I'm just saying, that would be
That
where
dude's
he
been
doesn't come
big
back.
this year. That guy's been big.
Yeah,
Him and
and
Brooks.
I think with obviously with Scooby moving on, I mean he's gonna be the starting linebacker there. Even though I'll tell you, Noah McHale has looked really good, and he may take one of those spots from somebody, right? And so he's a freshman.
What
Uh,
about the D line?
and D line, I mean you're gonna lose Regis. You're gonna lose. Uh, I think is last year, so he's gone.
Yeah.
Um, Searcy and Hayes.
Cassius is gone, right? Cassius is gone.
Hayes is gone, right?
Hayes is gone.
Searcy's got another year, but I think Hayes is a senior. So, but I'm just looking through here through the roster, and
What's
yeah,
Kennedy? Kennedy a
he's
sophomore?
done. Kennedy, yeah, Kennedy will be back.
I like him. I think he's gonna be
And obviously we
next.
lose Cassius, right? I mean,
I think Kennedy be Cassius next year.
yeah, Kennedy. Well,
He's got the talent.
I'm not sure Marco Jones isn't that guy. That dude's a special talent.
Well, and what's his
And
name?
he's
You said
young.
Hicks will be back. Hicks is back, right?
Hicks has got one more year of eligibility. You know,
Your thoughts?
I just don't think. I think he's got a chance to. I think if he comes back, he's got a chance to really move himself up the board. And I got to imagine that he's getting some pretty good NIL. So I don't understand. I don't know why he would leave.
I don't either. That
Um,
NIL, that's what makes it weird about these guys leaving if they're not sure because
yeah.
getting paid. I mean, I don't see
Yeah.
why you would
So yeah, I
take
mean,
it.
you're losing some pieces, but I think you're bringing back a lot more than you're losing in the sense that there's a lot of young guys that are ready to step up into some of those roles, and so I'm excited about that. You
I'll
know?
tell you what, that NIL is only going to go up after this year. Those Aggies, man, they're going to be throwing money left and right.
Yeah. Now you know how it goes, and this is always the thing. And we're let's not talk too much about next year because we got a long ways to go here. But the thing is, just like Texas, they thought they had a great team coming back now. They replaced all their guys and yada yada yada. And you've got to go back and the chemistry's got to be the same. The guys got to come ready to work, the whole shebang. You don't know how a winning season does that, what that does to you, right? They go out and win a natty this year. These guys all going to get lazy next year. Who knows, right? So it's a whole
What?
new year.
What are you talking about?
But now let's go to this matchup this week, which by the way, biggest matchup of the year for the Aggies, A&M at TU, 6:30 p.m. Friday night at Austin, DKR. It's on ABC. Look, biggest game of the Aggie for the Aggies this year. This is it. This is it. This is what we've been waiting on. This, if you're an Aggie football fan, this is what you have been waiting on. Corey, Texas coming into this game, 8-3, losses to Ohio State, Florida, and Georgia, right? Two of those teams are in the top five. So the other one sucks. But they're ranked 16 right now. They, in their heads, coach believes, if they can go and beat A&M on Friday, they've got a chance to make the playoffs. I don't think they get in, but they've got a chance, right? They at least have a small miniature chance. I don't know.
No, no.
I don't think so either.
Who are they bumping out with three losses? I mean,
That's a good
what
question.
are you going to put like seven teams from the SEC in? If they get in, then
They need a
everybody
little
else
bit
in
I
front of
think
them
they
has
do
to make
need no, I think they need a little bit of chaos in front of them, a little bit some guys to lose in front of them, but they obviously ain't in it if they lose, right? So they're playing for, you know, even if it's the slightest percentage chance of getting in, that's what they're playing for. That's what they're
it.
playing
Yeah.
for Friday night. And the thing about it is, right, we play Friday, so we're ahead of a lot of those other guys that play on Saturday. They got to win and then sit and hope. Sit and hope. I look, me and you agree. They ain't getting in. But
Now,
if you're
I don't give a
Sark, that's
shit
what you're
what happens
telling those
in the
guys,
game.
right? If you're Sark, that's what you're telling those guys. Number one,
Yeah.
we got a chance to go and ruin the season for our rivals at Texas A&M. And number two, we still got a chance, baby, but we got to win. That's what Sark's saying.
No, he's not. Sark is saying, guys, you blew it. Y'all freaking suck. The season's over. I'm going to the NFL. Y'all all suck. That's what he's saying. That's how the
No.
Longhorns talk.
Hey, listen, let me
He's
be
like, we
clear.
blew
Let
it.
me be
We
clear
lost.
here. Sark
Got our
has
ass kicked by
Sark
Georgia.
is saying, whether he means it or not, Sark's saying, I'm not going anywhere. He's literally already said it.
Isn't that what Lane Kiffin said a while back too?
No,
He's like happy in Ole Miss.
Lane
He's like
has
got his
said
whole family there, and
no. What Lane said is I love it here. He didn't say I'm not
I
leaving. He
love
said
it
I
here.
love
I
it here.
got all my family here. Everybody's moved here. I'm taking everybody to wherever the hell he's at,
Yeah, yeah.
Oxford or
He's
Biloxi or whatever the hell.
look. That's a big one too. He's announcing after the game on Friday. I think Saturday they're making an announcement, which tells me he's going somewhere.
He's
But look,
gone.
look. We can talk about Lane here in a minute. But here's my thing, right? And you go look at this Texas team, and everybody all of a sudden is high
Wait,
on
let
what
me
they've
ask you
done
a
lately.
question real quick. What about Texas scares you?
Nothing.
That's what I'm asking. I mean, what is it that their offensive line dominant?
No.
Is their receivers? Do they have the
No,
same
listen,
receivers
listen,
they
that's
had?
not true
Their
though.
running
But
game?
here's
Does
the
their
thing.
running
You
game
know what?
bug you?
I'm gonna tell you what worries, and nothing scares me about
I
Texas.
think their deep. I think their
The thing
defense
that
might be.
worries me about Texas is that their defense is pretty darn good. They're very, very talented. All right.
Yeah, I agree. That's the only thing that would make me a little bit nervous.
Yeah. And then offensively, look, they haven't run the football worth a darn all year long. But
But
we
we haven't
we
stopped
like
much
to give
running.
up big plays in the running game, right? So
Yeah,
so let's go into it a little bit. And let's offensively, look, they're ranked 72 in the country offensively, 382 yards a game. That's not good. That's not good, right? These are the kind of numbers we were talking about when we had Jimbo Fisher around here, right? Rushing, they're 110th in the country at 122 yards per game. 110th in the country rushing the football. That's where their problems are offensively. They cannot run the football. They haven't run the football all year. Scoring, they're 50th, less than 30 points a game, right? But where they do well is defense. Overall ranked 39th, but their rushing defense is eighth in the country at 93 yards per, right? That's where they excel. They've given up some yards because teams have thrown against them because they can't run against them, right? They've given up some yards in the passing game. So what is where does that leave us? All right, well, let's start with the Aggies and where they are at offensively, right? Offensively. So you look at what the Aggies do. So now against this Texas defense, can this Aggie offense control the ground game? Can we get in there and do some things and run the football against a team that is number 8 in the country against the run? That's question number one. What do you think?
yeah. We got the best offensive line they've seen all year. We ran the ball against. Who have we not run the ball against?
Yeah.
Missouri.
Well, there's several teams that it took us. We had to pound it a little bit in the first half, and then in the second half, it opens up, right?
Well, that's
Missouri.
what you do. That's the game. That's
But
why you play four quarters.
I do think you have to run the football a little bit to keep them honest. But I'll be honest with you, I expect this offense to come out and sling it a little bit on Saturday especially in the first half, right off the bat. I expect them to put it in Marcel's hands and let him distribute the ball early. Now, they will eventually get back to the running game. They will get back to the running game. But I think to start this ball game, they're going to come out aggressive. They want to let Mario and KC and Ashton Bethel Roman and all those receivers get some play. Get Bethel, not get Burkitcher involved in the passing game. Get Jamarian Morrow and Owens involved in the passing game. Those guys. I think they're going to sling it a little bit. And you know what? I I kind of think that's the move. Let's make sure that we can loosen up that defense a little bit, and then let's go back to work. Go back to work. And now
I'll
let's go
tell you.
pound the rock.
I like what you're saying about that, but I think this is going to be a field position game, and A&M's will be all over it because we're going to be in that backfield all day. I know you don't probably talk about defense yet, but we're going to be in that backfield. We're going to play in short fields. It's going to be because what I've watched Texas do this year against Florida, even games they've won, they can't protect Arch for shit.
And
So it
so
doesn't really
that also
matter. Their defense is going to be on the field the whole damn game. The second half is what's going to happen. South Carolina. I mean, every game we dominated the second half, have we not?
well, that's my
Except for
thing, right?
Stanford.
That's my thing. And I do that's why I think also you talk about that defense, right? And you talk about their offense, and how this is all going to try to play together, right? Play together. They don't dedicate themselves to the run. So once again, if you stop them a couple of times early and then you get a couple of quick scores on offense, those guys are going to give up on the running game. And next thing you know, Arch Manning is going to be a target back there. And then you're right. Then Elko can come after his ass, and all of
I'm
a
after him
sudden,
anyway.
all
I'm
of a
after him
sudden you're
anyway.
putting hits on the guy, and he's going to make mistakes, right? That has been his MO. Like when he's done well, it's because they're able to get the ball out to those receivers quickly and do those little screen games. They're ahead of games, they're comfortable. But you make those guys uncomfortable, and all of a sudden, that's where things happen.
Does Arch's legs bother you? Are you worried about him running?
I mean, some, but not
You know what's
crazy.
crazy? Have you looked at Arch's stats compared to Marcel's stats?
Yeah,
It's
yeah, they're
weird.
similar.
I think his are, except for the rushing stats, Marcel's got him in that, but the passing,
Yeah,
Arch
but
actually has him beat.
look at the teams he does it against, right? And that's the difference. Is Marcel doesn't have to throw for 300, and when they're ahead, they run the football and they just hand it off, right? And but when he needs to, when
Yeah.
you get down 30-3 at halftime against South Carolina, yeah, then he throws for 400.
Which you
when
should
you're
never get in
playing
that situation
when
against
you're
South
playing
Carolina.
Notre Dame and they're up and down the field, yeah, Marcel, goes up and down the field with them. So, you know, it
Okay, let me
it's
ask you a coach question. You're a coach. You're Sark. You see
yeah,
the Aggie defense. What are you going to do to score points?
I'm gonna tell you what they're gonna do, and it's what they've done all year, right? And that is they're gonna try to make things life on Manning easy. What does that mean? They
Short
have to
passes?
short passes. And let those look. They've got a couple wide receivers that are pretty doggone good athletes, right? That Wingo kid will get, but they're gonna put it in the ball, the hand, and the ball in their hands, and allow those guys to try to make plays off those short passes. If you can take that away, if you can take that away, now they now they've got something to think about because generally they haven't been able to run the football all year, right? And so that's kind of where I think this is where this game gets decided. Two things. One, can this defense take away limit those short passes, not take away. Let's limit those short passes to short gains
Yeah,
and and hold up in the run game at the same time. If they can do those
absolutely.
two things, then I
Yeah,
think I think you I think you're gonna be all right. Maybe you give up a big play at one point or something, they score a touchdown, but I think they will not be able to consistently move the ball on you.
no.
And so that's your win. And then what's the second thing? What's the second thing? Is you go look at turnover margins. Well, Texas does really well in the turnover margin. They're like a +1 per game almost, right?
And they
Aggies
lost.
Aggies are very bad in turnover margin. We're at like negative a half a turnover per game. So now that's the other piece. Don't make those critical mistakes offensively that are going to give Texas a chance to stay in this game, right? Because if this thing gets to the fourth quarter and it's still a game and those guys are up, they're at home or they're in it, like their energy's still up, right? Then they're still trying, that's a one play here, one play there. Don't give them those chances. You got to protect the football if you're Marcel. You got to take care of the football and you got to make big plays of your own, right? And so to me, the turnover margin is going to be a big one. But, once again, if your defense holds up against those little screen passes, don't let the freaking punt returner beat you, right? Don't let the punt returner beat you. And don't let those little
Don't
short
punt.
passes beat you,
Just don't
right?
punt.
That's one way to do it. Don't punt.
Punt on third down.
I mean, what do you think?
Dude, what I think is I compare this Texas team a lot to LSU. They have a quarterback. I think Arch is more
This team is
durable
better
than
than LSU,
LSU.
though. This team is
I don't
better
think
than
so.
LSU.
I don't think so.
All around, it's
I don't
better.
think so.
Yeah, it
I
is.
don't. I just don't think so. LSU couldn't run the ball for shit. They did in the first half against the Aggies. I think depth is going to be huge in this game, and we got the depth. I think that we're going to. I think, like you said, I think you put 8 men up in that box. You dare them to throw the ball deep. The short passes, he can't. He's not going to have time to get the ball deep. You know what I'm saying? Say you get on his ass from the get go, man up. I think our secondary can cover those receivers. I
Yeah,
don't know who. I don't know
they
who the
create.
Texas tight end is. Who's their tight end this year at Texas? Is he worth a
He's
shit?
yeah, he's pretty good. I can't remember his name, but he's pretty good. And
Well, he'll probably
um,
have a big game. He'll
he's had
probably
some
have a big
catches here and there. But honestly, where they've excelled is when teams have kind of sat back and played zone against them, and they
game. We ain't
got
doing that.
wide open guys in the secondary, right? That's you go look at
When you
Manning.
give Arch time, he's gonna pick you apart.
The Manning, the thing that if you let that guy sit back there and you let those wide receivers run wide open, yeah, he's gonna hurt you. But for the most part, he's had trouble whenever your secondary does their job, stays on guys. They don't just give wide open plays up, right? Sark has some designs that are gonna get some guys open, but you got to put pressure on Manning to take those things away because he won't get there. He won't get there a lot of those times. Pressure will definitely rattle him. And so, but once again, you got to take away the easy stuff, man. The easy stuff.
Well,
And
I just don't want Elko to overthink this shit. Just do what you've been doing. I would treat, like I said, I would treat this like the LSU game. Is how I would treat it because to me, that's what I see. I know you say they're different. I think LSU has a better offensive line than Texas does.
hmm,
I think the receivers and the running backs are comparable. I think the defenses might be Texas a little bit of an edge, but I mean LSU's got talent on that defense, and what do we do to them?
yeah, yeah, no. Hey, listen, and
And
I've said
where
it.
was it at? Baton
Look,
Rouge.
and listen, I told you at the beginning of the year. Some people don't want to listen. I said, look, this offense is going to freaking score points, and they have absolutely scored points every freaking week. This offense has made plays, right? And this week is going to be no different. Last year, our offense struggled against Texas. Boy, we couldn't run the ball for shit. We have an offensive line that's going to move the ball on the ground. But more than that, we've got playmakers that are going to make big plays. What did we talk about last year? We didn't have anybody that could make big plays. No big plays on that offense last year at all, ever. This year, it's like all the time, right? Big plays every game. And that's the big difference. You go look at last year's offense to this year's offense. It's the big play offense. What I talked about, you have to have explosives. You have to go down the field. Something that Colin Klein's done a much better job of, right? Is calling plays to get those explosives and to get those big plays. And they're gonna have them again on Friday, buddy. They're gonna have them again on Friday. I don't think
Yep.
Texas, with that defense, that's the strength of their defense, their team. They still don't hold us under 30. They don't hold us under 30. I don't believe they can. I don't believe they can. Unless we do something to put them in a position to do that, meaning turnovers, they can't hold us under 30.
All right.
And I
I'm just
expect
looking.
our wide receivers, by the way, our wide receivers to have big plays against that secondary. Everybody loves that secondary. Talk about a couple of those guys. Oh, NFL players, blah blah blah. We're gonna put it on them. Our wide receivers gonna put it on them.
You talk about this Texas defense. In their last 4 games, they gave up 37 to Arkansas, 35 to Georgia, 31 to Vandy, 38 to Mississippi State.
Right. Yeah.
You're right. That is a good defense. I mean, I see what you're saying.
No, no.
Dominant.
Look, understood.
You don't need
Understood.
to run the ball against that defense. If they're the number one running, all you got to do is throw the ball against them. It sounds like.
Yeah, and that's look, you're absolutely correct. I mean, but you also can't. You have to have a running game, right? Because what did Georgia do? Georgia ran the ball against them. Vanderbilt ran the
Working
ball
at it.
against them, right? Like you got to have a running game because they're they can bring pressure. They got two guys that can get pressure on you and you know make plays. So you got to keep them honest. You got to keep those guys honest.
Georgia ran the ball for 128 yards. Texas ran the ball for 23.
Look,
That's impressive.
and that you're right, and that's part of what I was going to say earlier is the Texas folks right now are sitting there talking about, oh, look, what Manning's done the last 5 weeks and it's whatever, but all these great things and they're winning. Like, well, yeah, you're absolutely right, but it's against Mississippi State, right? Horrible, and they barely beat them, one score game. Vandy, it's against Vandy, uh, 3-point game. They got their ass handed to them by Georgia, 35-10. That offense looked horrendous, right? They couldn't do squat. And then it was Arkansas, who's hasn't won a game in the SEC and has got the worst defense in the country. I mean, so like you tell me all these stats about these guys, who have they done it against? Right? Who have they
Exactly.
done
That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. I mean, Mississippi State, they're a juggernaut. Don't get me wrong.
it?
They gave up. They went to overtime
Yeah.
against Mississippi State.
Yeah. Yeah. And look, in a couple of
Our
those
quarterback
games,
Blake Shapen threw for 381 yards against Texas.
in a couple of those games, I'm pretty sure the Kentucky game and the Mississippi State game, they got key punt returns for touchdowns to win those games, right? Like
Yeah, I mean
if they
they
don't
should have
get
lost
those
the Kentucky game. They should have lost the Mississippi. They shouldn't even be in the conversation.
right.
This should be talking about. We should be talking about Sanford last week more. Like man, Sanford and Texas would be a good game.
No, and look, I don't disagree with you, right? I don't think this, and that's what I'm trying to tell you. And on the other side of this, Aggies 11-0 for the first time since 1992. 1992, when RC led the Aggies to 12-0 record in the regular season. They beat Texas 34-13. Then they lost to Notre Dame in the Cotton Bowl, 28-3. Otherwise, natty. That
Well,
team, Corey Pullick at quarterback. I just want to remind some Greg Hill, Rodney Thomas at running back, some pretty darn good players. Sam Adams, Ray Mickens, Aaron Glenn, Patrick Bates on defense. That was a pretty damn good team. 1992, baby. 1992.
a long freaking time ago.
Long time ago.
Anyway,
This
hey,
team,
this is a rivalry game, so you can throw a lot of this shit out the window. It'll
yeah.
be a close game. Texas will play better than they have all year just because it's a rivalry game. So the
Look,
line's at 2.5 for a reason.
A&M is one of four teams that are ranked in the top 20 in the country on offense and in defense. You want to name the other three?
Uh, Ohio State and Indiana.
Ohio State's not in there.
Indiana
Indiana,
and well, I was going to say North Texas, but they're not.
no,
They're not in
they're not
defense.
in. Oregon and Texas Tech. That's the four. Texas A&M, ranked in the top 20 on both offense and defense. Look, this A&M team is the real thing
Ohio State's not in there in offense or defense.
on offense. Just slightly out of it, by the way. Just slightly out of
What
it.
to say? God dang, because I've watched them.
But here's what I'm going to tell you, Corey. And look, all day, every day, I'll say this until the day I die. This team is led by this offense. And this game will be decided by this A&M offense. Marcel and all those receivers and all those weapons making plays because the offensive line gives them protection, creates some holes. That dude, Marcel, by the way, Heisman finalist Marcel, first in the SEC in yards per completion. That dude's not, there are big plays getting in there, right? Everybody talks about his completion percentage, yada yada, whatever, man.
Hey,
Suck it.
61% ain't bad.
Suck it. I don't care. Big plays. He's second in offensive touchdowns in the SEC, right? Second in
Who's
offensive
first?
touchdowns.
Who's first?
If I had to guess, it's Aguilar. If I had to guess,
Tennessee.
probably.
I was thinking Diego
Yeah,
Pavia.
no, probably Pavia. Yeah, yeah.
That's what I would guess, but
You're probably 100% correct. It's probably Pavia. Because
I usually
that
am.
dude
I
has the ball
usually
in
am.
his, yeah, he's the entire offense for Vanderbilt. So it's probably him.
Oh yeah, God, yes, he is. He had like 6 touchdowns last week.
Yeah. 31 touchdowns is seventh nationally for Marcel. You know, I expect a big game for Owens. I expect Owens to come out. Man, he took they got him healthy last week. All the bumps and bruises, man. And now he's ready to roll. Big time, big time. Ratcliffe, Brooks defensively at those safety positions. We talked about them earlier. They're so important for this defense, is that safety position, both of those guys. I expect them and Chappelle all to be very involved on Saturday, right? Very, very involved on Saturday, especially with all those little gadget things that Sark loves to do and everything else. But ultimately, A&M does come into this favored by 2.5. 51.5 is the over-under. Ultimately, I expect this game to be won offensively, man. And I don't think it's that close, to be honest with you. I don't think it's that close. I think this is a multiple score game in the fourth quarter. What do you think?
I'd like to see that. I just the rivalry part of it just what gets me. I just think Texas will be up. I think at halftime it's going to be like the LSU halftime. I think it'll be a close game because everybody's going to be riding high. And I think our O line and our running game we kill them in the second half. I mean,
Yeah, I
I think
think
we
we take
win
an early
by
lead and then we never look back.
I think we would win by I don't know 17 to 21 points somewhere around there.
What's your score prediction?
I think the Longhorns will get some cheap touchdowns somewhere. I'm not sure where. I think they'll score probably 24 points. I could see the Aggies around the 41, 41-24.
I'm
I
gonna
take the over
go
in this game.
I'm gonna go
I take the
35-17. 35-17.
what's the over under?
51 and a half.
Over it is.
Just slightly over is what that looks like.
Not for me. I'm way over.
Um, yeah, I think because and it may not go over. It may be just like the 1992 win over Texas at 34-13 because this
Look
team
at you
just
in history.
puts it on its back on the running game in the fourth quarter and milks this clock all the way out, right?
Milks it,
Um,
baby.
so look, I'm excited, man, and I'm excited for this game. I think the players are excited for this game. I think Mike Elko's excited for this game. I think this team has a lot of like angst and anger about this game. They've got a lot of pent up. They're ready to release, man. They got like last week was their week off. Everybody was all, whatever. They didn't really show up to play against South Carolina in the first half. It wasn't, it wasn't a big week. I think they've gotten past that. I think this week there's a focus out there that they're having to make up for the last 2 weeks. They're getting it back in there, and I expect this team to come out laser focused on Friday and put it away. Put it away. Make Texas quit by the fourth quarter.
I'll tell you what I like to see happen. I like to see the Aggies kick off first and have Texas get the ball. Because I think once they get the ball, I think we're just going to pound their ass down there and have short fields the rest of the first half. That'd be my ideal scenario right there.
Yeah. I want to empty out DKR just like we did, just like we did at LSU.
Well, I'm saying that's
Yeah.
exactly what I'm saying.
I want to empty out DKR. You know what I mean?
I agree. I totally agree. Totally.
Around the SEC this past week, like we talked about, there wasn't very many games. We're only going to look. Oklahoma beats Missouri. Oklahoma now with a chance to get into the playoffs. They've got a game against LSU coming up. Man, that's pretty big win by Oklahoma. We talked about it on the pod. We said, look, Missouri's a one-dimensional offense. Oklahoma's going to dominate a one-dimensional offense, and they sure did, 17-6. They didn't have to do a lot offensively,
They
and
did do a lot offensively. I watched that game. That game was ugliest. They got one big play, and that's damn near it.
yeah,
Go
yeah,
ahead. Sorry.
and that's how they play, though, right? That's how they play, and that is Oklahoma's look. That is their recipe for success, man. And don't get me wrong, Mizzou's got a good defense, right? We know they do.
They do.
Mizzou's got a good defense.
Got a
So
good running back. Their quarterback's been dinged up. Their receivers suck. Yeah, I got you.
But big win for those guys because I think LSU's basically already quit. So I expect Oklahoma to get another win and make it into the playoffs. Look, Vandy beats Kentucky 45-17 to try to keep their hopes alive. We thought Kentucky maybe, you know, had has had a little resurgence lately. They look like crap again. And Vandy really put it to them. I think Vandy's still out if everything goes
Yeah,
according.
why?
I don't know, man. I don't know. They don't get the respect though, right?
I thought a
And
two-loss team. I thought a two-loss team in the SEC gets left out.
yeah, but you could potentially have six two-loss teams in the SEC. Two-loss or less teams in the SEC, right?
No.
Six. And you're not
I
going
would
to
say
get six
I'd
in.
say you get one team from the Big 12, one team from the ACC, Notre Dame. So what's left?
You've got the
That's,
non-power four,
that's another non-power four. So that's four. So that leaves us 8 teams.
and you got the Big Ten still, right?
So you got two from the Big 10.
Yeah,
Leave
so you're
Oregon
gonna
out.
are you gonna leave out a one-loss Oregon over a two-loss Vandy?
Yeah, they played a shitty schedule. The only team they played, they got their ass kicked
No,
by.
I don't think so. I don't think
Who
so.
else did Oregon play?
I'm
Who did
just
Oregon
telling
play?
you, I'm just telling you, SEC's not getting six teams in.
All right, you're
So
right. Let's go seven. Let's go seven. Let's leave. I agree. I'm with you. I'm on board.
I'm just telling you, they're not getting six teams in.
I
So
don't think so.
one of those teams gets one of those teams
So
gets
they're getting
screwed.
five. They're getting five. You're saying?
One of those teams get screwed. Well, they now you know what changes that. You know what changes
A&M.
that. What happens if Alabama loses to Auburn? They're out. Alabama's out.
I think that's all right. What's more likely to happen? Alabama loses to Auburn, or Ole Miss loses to Mississippi State?
Man, because of all the BS with, that could also happen, right? All the BS
Well,
with Lane Kiffin. Everybody knows he's leaving at this point. Like they can go out there and lose that game. They can go out there and lose that game, and with Lane Kiffin leaving, they leave Ole Miss out because hell, he's not even going to coach the playoffs.
yeah,
So, I mean, a lot of things could happen there. Um,
yeah. What if Ole Miss loses to Mississippi State? Are they in the playoffs? They'd have two losses.
let's go through some playoff scenarios here. Let's finish up a couple of scores from last week and let's talk about it. Texas
Go ahead.
beats Arkansas. We talked about it, 52-37. It's Arkansas just horrible team. Tennessee beats Florida 31-11. Florida's quit.
Just a horrible team. Go ahead.
Yeah, Florida's quit 31-11. That team's quit.
Yep.
Around the country, Oregon beats USC 42-27, kind of basically sealing their trip into the playoffs right there. Notre Dame goes 70-7 on Syracuse. Dude, they are playing at an elite level, Notre Dame. They
Well,
are
let me.
flying high.
Syracuse. Syracuse beat Florida State,
Think about that for a second. Who beat Alabama? Um,
who beat Alabama.
BYU beats your Cinderella team in Cincinnati, 26-14. Nice, big win. Hey,
I
look,
like them in the first half. I just like Cincinnati in the first half.
I'm just messing with you. But BYU, honestly though, I can't see a one-loss BYU team getting left out of this thing, by the way. Uh, Utah comes back against K-State 51-47 to keep their hopes alive in the Big 12. Miami beats Virginia Tech 34-17 pretty handily. Pitt beats Georgia Tech, basically eliminates Georgia Tech from contention here. And now they're still alive with a game against Miami coming up this week. So let's talk about the roster for this week. Ole Miss at Mississippi State. Ole Miss is -7.5. They're at Mississippi State. The over-under is 62.5. I'd take the over, by the way. I'd take the over. What do you think?
You know, I don't understand what's so good about this Ole Miss team. I mean, what aspect? I mean, their quarterbacks okay. They're run the
Chambliss is
ball.
pretty good.
They run the ball pretty good. I mean, I'm just like
Lacey, the running back's pretty good.
they're not as flashy as they were before. You know what I'm saying? I
Uh,
don't know.
yeah, man, but
I take the over. I take the over also.
I think they play together though. I think they play together. I actually think that Lane Kiffin has probably done his best job out there this year. Unfortunately, he's leaving, so they may not play very well on Saturday because I mean, I think they play on Friday, right? They may
Yep.
not play very well on Friday because shit, he's gone. I think everybody knows he's gone. You know what I mean? And that team
Yeah.
may be devastated by that, and that could keep them out of the playoffs. Um,
I don't know.
Utah
You take
at Kansas. Utah's minus 12 and a half. That should be an easy win for a team that look, you've been high on Utah all year. Look, they look good. They look good here coming down the stretch, man. They've done some good things.
They looked like shit last week against fucking Kansas State.
Well,
They
they
lost
started
that
off
game. They
looking like
almost
shit.
lost.
They
Huh?
started off looking like shit, and then the second half they looked pretty darn good.
It's a whole game thing, except for
Yeah.
the Aggies. As long as the Aggies look good in the second half, we're happy.
Georgia goes to Georgia Tech. 14 and a half point favorites, by the way, for Georgia.
It's gone up. I thought it was 12 and a half.
It's up, and that was a tight ball game last year. I mean, can Haynes
Wait,
King come back and have another performance like he did last year, and maybe keep the Georgia Tech hopes of the playoffs alive with a win over Georgia? That'd be huge. Who
that
would
would
you
be
take?
huge. I can't
I
believe
take
that
the
line.
points. By the way, I would take the
Why is
points.
the line that high?
I'm taking the points. Unless somebody said Haynes King ain't playing, I'm taking the points.
Jesus, no shit.
Arizona State. Arizona State still got a chance in the Big 12, by the way. They're minus a point and a half at home in a
What's
rivalry
the over
game.
under now?
48 and a half. What do you think?
I mean, it's the Big 12. I mean, I'll usually go over in the Big 12 because the Big 12.
Ohio State at Michigan. This is the only good team that Ohio State's faced all year, and they're not that good, right? Ohio State's minus 9.5 at Michigan, but they've lost to Michigan four in a row, right?
I
Nine and a
mean,
half points.
I could probably just take Michigan just on the history.
Yeah.
Michigan's got a better team this year.
Yeah. Offensively, even though they just had their best game offensively for sure.
Well, they're coming
Um,
around.
yeah, I take Michigan with the points.
All right.
Miami goes to Pitt. This is a big game in the ACC, huge game in the ACC. Uh, Miami's minus 6.5.
That's another high scoring game, I think. Pittsburgh's offense is
50
doing
and a
pretty
half
good.
is the over under.
Not enough. Higher.
Not enough. Over. Uh, Oregon at Washington. Oregon's minus 6.5. Look, this is obviously kind of a rivalry game here. Oregon wins, they're in.
I'll take Oregon.
They lose, though, they may be out.
This Washington team just lost to Wisconsin a couple weeks ago, and that was
Yeah.
I cannot back Washington for anything.
LSU at Oklahoma. Oklahoma's minus 10.5. That's a big point spread for a team that doesn't score any points.
Yeah. I
Listen to
mean
this over under.
LSU's got talent.
Listen to this over under. 36.5.
I was about to say 40.
Uh,
Damn, is Iowa playing?
are
I
we going to go under on that?
mean, they're begging you to take the over, aren't they?
Hey, Vandy goes to Tennessee to try to keep its playoff hopes alive. Tennessee's minus 3.5.
That's going to be another shootout. That over under's got to be pushing 70.
65.5. Those are the two highest scoring teams in the SEC. Yeah, it's going over.
Oh yeah.
Uh, and then Bama at Auburn. Bama's favored by 6.5 points, but this is a one score game against an Auburn team that I don't think is going to make
Suck.
make a bowl game, right?
Yeah, they suck.
I mean, where are you going there?
Dude, I've lost a lot of confidence in Alabama, but I have no confidence in Auburn. None. What's the over under in that one? Is it like
46 and a
45?
half. I'm going over.
I'd try to take the under.
46 and a half. I think it's going to go over.
I think the under. I like the under. I hardly ever take unders, but I take under now.
I've never seen you take an under. I'll be honest with you.
There you go.
All right, so let's talk about this, right? Let's talk about this. What teams are questions from the tailgate? Brought to you by Frida Homes, Bill and Aggie Dreams, custom home builders with over 15 years of experience in the Brazos Valley. If you're looking for someone that cares about you and the details you care about, contact Frida Homes. Visit them or give just a call at 979-450-4466. When you call, just remember, everyone loves their Frida home. All right. Question one. What's going to happen in the playoffs? Corey, what do you think? I mean, who's getting in, man? Who's getting in?
Well, two teams for sure, just about. Not for sure, but Notre Dame's pretty much a lock, right? Is Notre Dame a lock?
Yeah, yeah, Notre Dame's pretty much a lock.
Okay, then you got the group of whatever it is, a group of five, whoever, a group of four, whoever, whatever.
Well, I mean, look, SEC champ, right? SEC champ, Big Ten champ, ACC champ, and Big 12 champ.
All right. So ACC, I think, is easy. SMU. SMU's in.
You think SMU beats Virginia in the
Fuck
in
yeah.
the ACC in the
Hell
ACC
yeah.
championship?
Yes.
All right.
SMU's in. Virginia would get spanked in the playoffs anyway. And I think the ACC only gets one team in, by the way. So it's SMU.
Yeah, so everybody's talking about Miami, and if they can beat Pitt this week, even if they don't get to the championship, can they get in there? Because then they start getting a comparison, supposedly, according to the playoff
With
people,
the Notre Dame.
with Notre Dame. And so, can you leave them, a two-loss Miami team, out ahead of, behind Notre Dame with a head-to-head win? And look, this is my thoughts on it. And I don't give a shit. Some people are like, well, why do you play the games? Well, you know what? That game was played in week one. Miami showed up with a 6-year quarterback. Notre Dame has got a guy that hadn't played a snap. And by halftime, yeah, Miami was up a lot. Second half, Notre Dame was already the better team in the second half. They were already the better team. And if you look at the way those two teams have gotten better, which one's gotten better over the season and how much better, Notre Dame has just continuously gotten better and better as the year's gone along. You go look at what they just did to Syracuse. That's a look, I don't care. Syracuse ain't any good, but that's 70-7 against the Power Four conference team. 70-7. That's impressive. Look, I don't care what anybody says, that head-to-head bullshit. Notre Dame's got to be in ahead of Miami all day long. They're a better team today than Miami is today. If they faced them today, they would beat Miami by multiple scores. That is what I believe.
It's a bold statement. But that's hypothetical shit. What
That
you're
is
saying. What really happened is Miami beat Notre Dame, so Miami has an argument.
But you can't take the same. Look, those teams that start the season in week one aren't the same teams that finish in week 12.
What about the teams in week 2 and 3? Are they the same teams?
No.
I'm
No,
just
they're not.
saying. So is that A&M win over Notre Dame not as big anymore?
Well, I think that you go look at those two teams, and both of those teams have continued to play very well and gotten better, right? A&M hadn't
Did you
lost a
watch the
game,
South
Corey.
Carolina game? Did you watch the South Carolina game?
A&M won that game, Corey. Did you watch the second half of that South Carolina game? Is what
You
I'm
watched
wondering.
the first half? Did you watch the first half?
Yeah, they didn't show up to play. There's no question about it. But if you watched that game, you knew the better team won. You know why? Because they came out in the second half and just absolutely put their freaking foot on their throats and just absolutely dominated them. And that's a better team. And so,
Gotcha. Okay.
look, Aggies haven't lost a game. They don't. You don't. I don't have to argue that. We're not comparing them against anybody early on.
I wasn't doing that. What I was saying is, this the beginning. You said the beginning of the season, first week, second week, third week, Miami game. We're talking about the Miami Notre Dame argument. You play the games, then why are they playing week 1?
Listen, um, last year, Notre Dame in week 2 lost to Northern Illinois. And then
Yep.
they ran the table and went to the national championship game. Were they
Okay.
the same team in week 2 as they were in week 12? No. That's a team that got better, right? That's a team that got better. Now, I don't know. You tell me. You tell me, because when I look at a team like Miami this year, for example, I look at a team like Miami this year, Let's take a look at what they've done. All right. Yeah, they came out hot. 27-24 win at home over Notre Dame. At home, right? At home.
Hey, yeah.
Okay. In week one. And then they had a big win against South Florida when they were high up on the, and everybody's thing, 49-12. Oh, they beat a great Florida team, great Florida State team. What have they done lately? Well, they lost to Louisville. They lost to Louisville. Yep, 24-21. Um, they lost to SMU, 26-20,
That's who's going to be out of the ACC.
you know? And so now they finished the season against Syracuse, NC State, and Virginia Tech, three really bad teams, and all of a sudden they're getting credit for those wins, right? Like, who have you beaten in the last in the last 8 weeks? Nobody, man. Don't give me this argument that Miami's great. Miami's not
Well,
great.
who's Notre Dame beat? They just beat Syracuse.
Well,
They fucking suck.
you want to, but yeah, sure,
They fucking
you
suck.
can say
Wait, they
that.
beat
You can say
USC.
that.
I think USC is overrated.
You can say
I
that,
think
but
the Big
Notre
Ten's
Dame,
overrated. I think the Big Ten's overrated, by the way.
Notre Dame, those games
There's a
haven't
lot of
been
shitty teams in
close.
the Big Ten.
Those
Shitty
games
teams.
haven't been close.
Who?
Notre Dame's games. They beat USC by 10. Those games aren't close. They beat Pitt. They beat Pitt 37-15. Pitt's
Uh,
ranked, bro. Pitt's ranked.
well, I hate to cut this short, but I'm getting summoned by my wife.
All right. With one game in the season, what has surprised you most about this Texas A&M team?
The winning on the road. Holy shit. They won games on the road, and we haven't done that in years. I'm talking big games, games that freaking matter. Notre Dame, LSU, Missouri. I mean, geez, it's been impressive.
Yeah, yeah, agree. The poise, man, the way they show up with
Yeah.
incredible poise, and they absolutely every week. That team is just, I mean, on the road, they look great, and I 100% agree. We talked about it before the season. Look, this offense was going to be good. We talked about the fact that this defense at times is going to have some issues and give up some big plays. They've done that. They've done all those things, but the poise of this offense and the way they continue to play and always make the plays when they have to on the road against top teams, dude, that's been the thing that surprised me the most this year. And it's incredible. It's incredible. And it's been awesome. Awesome. Last words, Corey.
Run to the line and bet the Aggies. They should win and cover.
Gig 'em, Aggies. AP C Money signing out from the tailgate, baby.